Two children are born on the same day, in the same city, just a few streets apart. They go to similar schools. They grow up watching the same world. They both dream of success. Fast forward 30 years, one of them wakes up in a beautiful home, checks their investments, and calmly starts the day knowing their money is working for them. The other hits snooze 3 times, checks their bank account with anxiety, and wonders why, despite working so hard, they still feel stuck. So what happened? Was one simply luckier? Smarter? More talented? No. The difference began with small decisions, repeated over time, that slowly built 2 completely different lives. Today, you're about to discover the invisible habits that keep people poor without them even realizing it. And more importantly, how the rich think differently. But before we go deeper, if you want to understand how money really works and learn the psychology behind building real wealth, subscribe to this channel, because here we simplify finance so you can take control of your future. Now let's begin. The first trap. Believing income creates wealth. Most people grow up believing one powerful myth: make more money, and you'll become rich. It sounds logical, but it's dangerously incomplete. Look around, you'll find doctors drowning in debt, athletes who went broke, lottery winners who lost everything. Meanwhile, there are teachers, engineers, and ordinary workers quietly becoming millionaires. So what's the real difference? Rich people don't focus only on income. They focus on assets. An asset is something that puts money into your pocket, even when you're not working. Poor and middle-class individuals often do the opposite. The moment they earn more, they upgrade their lifestyle. Better phone, better car, bigger apartment, more subscriptions, and suddenly that raise disappears. Here's a line you should never forget. Most people don't get richer. They just upgrade their struggles. Wealth isn't built by how much you earn. It's built by how much you keep and grow. The lifestyle inflation trap. Imagine getting a salary increase tomorrow. Feels amazing, right? But what usually happens next is almost automatic. You start telling yourself, I deserve something nicer. So spending rises. Quietly, not dramatically. Just enough to keep you exactly where you were before. This is called lifestyle inflation, and it is one of the biggest reasons people stay poor. Rich people understand something powerful. Every raise is an opportunity, not for comfort, but for freedom. Instead of increasing expenses, they increase investments. Instead of buying liabilities, they buy income-producing assets. Over time, that gap becomes enormous. One person is financing a lifestyle. The other is building a machine that prints money. The consumption loop. Let's simplify this. Most people live inside a loop that looks like this. Earn gives, spend gives, repeat. Month after month, year after year, no escape. Rich people operate in a completely different loop. Earn gives, invest, gives earn more. At first, the difference seems small, but time magnifies everything. Imagine planting a tree. For years, nothing dramatic happens. Then suddenly, it grows faster than you imagined. Money works the same way. Compounding is slow at first, then unstoppable. But here's the painful truth. You cannot compound money you never invest. And you cannot invest money you constantly spend. The time horizon difference. Poor decisions often feel good immediately. Rich decisions often feel uncomfortable at first. Buying something new creates excitement. Investing creates patience. But patience is where wealth lives. Poor thinkers ask, what can I afford today? Rich thinkers ask, what will grow my money tomorrow? That single shift in thinking can change your entire financial future. Because wealth is not about reacting to the present. It's about designing the future. If you're the silent wealth killer, many people never invest. Not because they can't, but because they're afraid. Afraid of losing money. Afraid of making mistakes. Afraid of the unknown. But here is the irony. The biggest risk is not investing. It's staying broke forever. Inflation quietly eats your savings. Prices rise. Your purchasing power shrinks. And the longer you wait, the harder it becomes to catch up. Rich people are not fearless. They simply understand risk differently. They know that avoiding all risk is the riskiest decision of all. The dopamine economy we live in, a world engineered to make you spend. One-click shopping, flash sales, endless ads, social media comparison. Everywhere you look, someone is showing you a better life, a newer car, a bigger house, a luxury vacation, and without noticing, You begin measuring your life against theirs. This creates what psychologists call dopamine spending. You don't buy because you need something, you buy because it feels good. For a moment, but remember this: poor decisions feel good today. Rich decisions feel good forever. Temporary pleasure often creates permanent financial pressure. Wealth requires learning one powerful skill: delaying gratification. Can you resist today, so your future can expand? That question alone separates builders from consumers. The knowledge gap here is something rarely discussed. Most schools teach you how to earn money, but almost none teach you how to grow it. So people enter adulthood financially blind. They work hard, they try their best. But without financial education, effort alone isn't enough. Rich individuals treat financial knowledge like oxygen. They read, they learn, they ask questions, they understand taxes, investing, and long-term strategy. Every piece of knowledge becomes another brick in their wealth foundation. You don't need to become a financial expert overnight, but you must remain a lifelong student, because ignorance is expensive, and knowledge pays dividends forever. Identity, the ultimate financial upgrade. Let's go deeper. Wealth is not just about numbers, it's about identity. Do you see yourself as a consumer or as a builder? Consumers trade money for temporary happiness. Builders trade money for future freedom. Before every purchase, rich thinkers often ask one simple question: is this feeding my life or feeding my ego? That pause alone can save thousands, because many purchases aren't about need, they're about image. An image is one of the most expensive things you can buy. When your identity shifts, your decisions shift automatically. And when decisions shift, your life follows. Environment matters more than motivation. You've probably heard this before. You are the average of the people you surround yourself with. If everyone around you spends impulsively, saving feels strange. If everyone invests, building wealth feels normal. Rich people intentionally place themselves in environments that encourage growth. They don't rely on motivation. They design their surroundings to make smart decisions easier. So ask yourself, are the voices around you pushing you forward or quietly keeping you stuck? The power of ownership. There is one principle the wealthy understand deeply. Ownership changes everything. When you own stocks, you benefit from economic growth. When you own businesses, you benefit from human productivity. When you own assets, you stop trading time for survival. Instead, your money begins working alongside you, not overnight, but inevitably. And one day, you wake up realizing your investments earned more than your job. That is the moment life changes. The freedom formula. Wealth is not about luxury, it's about options. The option to say no, the option to rest, the option to choose your path. Financial stress traps millions of people in lives they never intended to live. But the path out is simpler than most think. Spend less than you earn. Invest consistently. Think long-term. Avoid destructive debt. Repeat, it isn't flashy, but it works. Because boring habits build extraordinary freedom. The final realization: let's return to those two children from the beginning. Their lives didn't separate overnight. It happened slowly, through daily choices no one noticed. One became reactive, the other became intentional. And here is the most empowering truth of all: wealth is not reserved for the lucky. It is built by those who decide, and then act. So today, pause and ask yourself, are you building wealth or funding someone else's? Are your habits creating freedom or financing a prison? Because the moment you stop thinking like a consumer and start acting like an investor, your future begins to change. Not someday, not next year, but right now. If this opened your eyes, subscribe for smarter money insights. And remember, small decisions repeated daily create extraordinary lives. Choose wisely.